My LEGO dreams come true when I get some super tall LEGO minifigures. So today we will take a LEGO adventure with 7 tasks to look at every minifigure piece that will increase our minifigure height. Let's go! And after taking the first few steps, we are already confronted with our first task, finding the tallest legs. So we immediately have to start thinking. Normal ones are precisely 4 bricks tall, but we know 4 legs that will raise our height by exactly 1 plate. The chin leg, whatever this thing is, Prince Kalmar's legs, and the snake tails. And the easiest way of all, we make use of a slope piece, like the one used for Master Splinter's coat, the sensei from our fellow Ninja Turtles. But if we want some more height, we need to make use of one of the ghost or mermaid pieces. Apart from looking super cool, these items can make our minifigure bigger, once again by 1 plate. But what if we want something more natural? I got it! We need one of the Avatar or Sonic sets.
Flight suite activated.
Apart from providing us with some amazing builds, their minifigures are built with pretty much normal legs, except that they're almost a full brick taller already. And if we add the Avatar tail, they're precisely 1 brick taller. That would make a normal minifigure appear like a child. And a child? Like, oh, forget it! They're even taller legs. The biggest 3 we could find are this second mermaid, this lightning monster, and Nia. But she's not really a competitor, since her legs are still normal ones, and she only attached an additional piece, which doesn't count. Nice try, Nia, but you can't fool us. The other 2, however, are legit, and they're already 1 brick and 2 plates taller than normal leg pieces, which means they're almost twice the height of normal leg pieces. Twice the height! That's insane! Now, obviously, before we continue our adventure, we need to document our discovery. I quickly speed built a museum so our adventurers can store all their precious knowledge. And I guess a good spot for our first collection would be right here. We'll add 1 leg piece for each height, and we can re-embark on our journey. And after walking a few miles, we now discover that the second task is to find the tallest torso pieces. And real talk, our only way to improve height here is by adding a second torso. There are a bunch of different ones out there, and you'd expect all of them to be the same height, but no! There are actually 2. One of them is exactly 1 brick tall, but the other, it's slightly bigger. And you might guess, well, 1 plate. Well, no! They are half a plate taller. Luckily, I figured out that if you add a backplane to a normal minifigure, you can close that gap. Alternatively, you can also add the backplane to the second torso, and instead add an additional plate to the normal minifigure, and you will also get to an even height. And I think that is a pure 200 IQ move. But our tutor is still not satisfied with our answer. He says there is more, and that's when he swung his wand and showed us the history of 2 legends. There were once 2 fighters that also added height via their torso. Ponkrell from Star Wars and Samukai from Ninjago. Both of them have the heads already molded onto their torso. Samukai only gains a little bit of height through that. But Ponkrell, being from a different species, has a slight height advantage over the other figures with 2 torsos. You can find their remnants just under this tree there. Okay, so let's bring our discovery into the museum. We can add them in the same niche as the legs. Let's add the 2 different sized torsos so every visitor can see them in their full glory. And as a centerpiece on a small stand, Ponkrell and Samukai are in their full posture. But their glory will be short-lived because we know what will come in our third task, head molds. So upon arriving on our next checkpoint, we can immediately tell the present sensei that there are a lot of different head molds. Here are just a few. A Tusken Raider, Akbar, Lagoon, Raz, Shark, Chewie, Steve, Bosk, Gamoringar, Asphira, Leonardo, what?
That's enough.
Oh, I'm sorry, Master.
No worries. But what's the biggest mold you can recall?
Well, our personal biggest headpiece is Pyther's head. Luckily, we reminded ourselves of a comment from an old video who said that Marge Simpson has a giant headpiece. So Brickenobi speedran his way to a local second-hand LEGO store where he purchased just this head. And we were right, this item is really a banger. It adds like 3 bricks of height to every minifigure it's attached to. For comparison, our Pyther head only adds a good 2 bricks. The only thing that could concur Marge would be this fake LEGO head. It's super cool and looks like a normal head just got scratched, but it's still smaller.
Brilliant answer. You may move on.
But before we do that, I think it's approved if we display the 3 tallest headpieces along with Chewie in our museum. Now the 4th task is to change the hair pieces. And there are a few really big ones out there, like the giraffe or the banana. But They were more like costumes rather than actual parts of the minifigure, so we just decided to keep all the hair pieces away from the tallest minifigure parts. Yeah, we can still keep them in our museum. and I think an appropriate place would be to dump them in the bins just outside the back door. But before we move on, here's a quick speedrun of a few minifigures that surprisingly don't add height. And the first piece is not Master Splinter's coat, who breaks away at the slightest impact. It's LEGO's new coat. The connection is much stronger and they have a really cool shape. But they don't add any height to our minifigure whatsoever. The other two minifigures that feature the exact same height as normal LEGO minifigures are skeletons. But that's super cool, since they should represent a dead minifigure, so it must be the same height. So props to LEGO there. But since they don't add any height at all, they also don't deserve to be in a museum. Or, well, we could dump the skeletons in the lab. That way, the director of our museum has something interesting to examine. So on to the next task, folks. And another really impressive way to add height to any figure you want is through backblinks and fabric. For example, this custom clone is equipped with a total of 5 layers of fabric, and combined they add almost a full plate of height. The same is with backblinks and kamas. If you attach 2 of them, you can also add the complete plate of height. That's just genius and makes the minifigure so much cooler. Props to Cape Cantina, they make some awesome capes. But because also these items aren't a necessity for a minifigure, they technically haven't really earned their way into the museum either. But because I find this way of adding a bit of height and making a minifigure look insane so cool, we'll give this idea a separate section with 3 minifigures on display: a clone, a ninja, and Shredder. Now, upon arriving on the 6th checkpoint, we are told to increase size by getting some completely different minifigures. And the first one we find is the A1 Battle Droid. Apart from being taller than clones in the actual Clone Wars show, they are also taller than the minifigure clones. In fact, they are exactly 2 plates taller than normal minifigures, giving them the equal size to Ghosts. And just like with our normal legs, taller droid legs give us almost another plate of height. That way, the Commando and Super Battle droids grow almost to the same height as Ghosts. And the Ultimate droids are Grievous with a completely stretched out neck, and the Killer droid, who has an insanely tall head. They both are around the same height as the Lightning Monster. But our most shocking discovery was when I learned about the Minecraft mobs. I asked you guys who might be the tallest minifigure out of these 4. And fun fact, these 3 are the exact same height. Yes, Hagrid is a full brick taller than a normal minifigure. But the Enderman is like 3 bricks bigger. Literally only 25% knew this. I guess it's a rather unknown secret. And of course, there's LEGO Friends. But they are definitely not record-breaking, since they don't have taller legs or additional torsos. They're all 1 plate and 1 back blink bigger. The only thing that could still stop the Enderman would be the Big Fig, or a minifigure that makes use of all the tallest parts. That means mermaid legs, the bigger one of the second torsos, and Marge Simpson's head. The minifigure is now even taller than a Big Fig, which is really impressive. So we have to add it to our museum. Bye bye Pong, welcome Marge Megapson. She almost reaches to the 2nd floor. Let me know if I once again forgot some essential parts, and what an adventure this was. See ya!